Hey my Nova Bites, time travelers Nova and Rats here, and welcome back to our playthrough of Bad Summer. Last we left off, we went on a camping trip, got stuck in the back rooms, and we got saved from drowning. Coughing and sputtering, I collapsed onto the muddy bank, waterlogged and shivering. My clothes clung to me, heavy and cold, each movement sending a wave of icy discomfort through my body. I gasped for breath, my lungs burning from the shock and exertion. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic rhythm against the sudden stillness. Suddenly, I was surrounded by the others. Their faces swam into focus. Was that annoyance? Concern? It was hard to tell through the blur of my own panic. Candy was there, her brow furrowed, though on her. It looked more like a cartoon confusion than actual worry. Her usual bright energy shimmered just beneath the surface, barely contained. Summer was assessing the damage to the collapsed bridge, shaking her head. Jake twirled his marker between his fingers, eyes locked on the crashing waves below. A crooked, unhinged grin tugged at his lips, like he wouldn't mind if the sea swallowed him whole. Andre leaned against a tree, arms crossed, expression unreadable. He looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Are you okay? What happened?
No.
Now I'm going to imitate Summer's accent accurately now. You guys left me. That's what happened. You mean you left us? We reached a fork in the path. Then we turned around and you were gone. We looked everywhere for you. Good thing we found you before you became fish food.
I hate to say it, but Jake's not wrong. First rule of hiking, stick to the marked trails. This bridge has been crumbling for years. Campers are strictly warned to avoid it. And staff? We should know better. Trying to cross was like begging for disaster. What were you thinking? I...
I stumbled over my thoughts, scrambling for an excuse. What could I even say? That I bolted off the trail like a fool because of a shadow? That something was after me? They think I'd lost my mind.
Sorry, I messed up. Big time. It won't happen again.
Summer crossed her arms over her chest, unconvinced.
It better not. No more bridges, no more being chased after by bums. From now on, you're sticking with a partner.
A partner?
That's right. Here at Camp Bear Ridge, we got a buddy system. Newcomers get paired up for a few days to watch each other's backs, stick together, and stay out of trouble. Normally, it's for the 12-year-olds, but since you've got a talent for finding chaos, I'm making an exception. You've officially lost your solo privileges.
I winced. A partner. Seriously.
I don't need a partner. I've just had some bad luck lately, and
I'm doing this for your own good, Jenny. You'll thank me later. Your assigned buddy is...
Jake.
Jake looked up, marker frozen mid-spin.
Sweet!
Seriously. They it's serious. Jake lit up. A spark danced behind his eyes, bright and unnerving. He turned fully towards me, stepping in close like this was the best news he'd heard all week. You and me, huh? I can work with that. He reached out and took my hand without hesitation, flipping it over and examining it intently. Sort of like how I imagined he would study a work of art. Your hands, they feel like artist hands, you know? Like they're ready to create something beautiful. Not with paint, obviously, but with music. I can almost hear a melody. My breath hitched as Jake's fingers brushed mine, bold and deliberate, like he was claiming something. My little Melody. Hmm, that's a new nickname. It wasn't just confidence, it was a quiet kind of possession, all too public and all too personal. I withdrew my hand instinctively. He smiled again, softer this time, but still intense. My pulse fluttered. Janie needs someone who won't let her get swallowed by a river, and Jake? I got her, I do. Cross my heart. Summer raised an eyebrow, her eyes lowering to the bunny sketched across my forearm. Try not to turn Jenny into a walking subway car. Aye, aye, Captain. But I would prefer you stuck to drawing on paper instead of people. The last thing we need is kids doodling on each other because Counselor Jake thinks it's cute. No promises. Summer's lips curled with quiet satisfaction.
Good.
Good. You two will make a weird but functional team. Just try not to kill each other. Before I could react, Summer grabbed Jake's wrist with one hand and mine with the other, guiding them together. There, Summer announced, stepping back with a satisfied nod. Jake didn't flinch. Instead, he laced his fingers through mine and gave an exaggerated theatrical blow, or bow. Partners in crime. This is gonna be a disaster. Or a masterpiece. Say, teamwork.
After some time, we reached a clearing in the trees. The sun blazed overhead, casting golden warmth across the open land. In the center stood the main cabin of Camp Bear Ridge, rustic and sturdy, the wood-paneled exterior weathered by time. Wide fields of flat, open ground stretched endlessly beyond the massive structure. It seemed perfect for pitching tents and setting up campfire circles. I expected the buzz of preparation. Camp counselors arriving in groups, hauling gear, laughing, unpacking supplies, maybe arguing over tent spots. But there was none of that. No walkie-talkie chatter, no hurried footsteps, barely any parked cars. Just us, standing in a vast sunlit clearing that felt far too quiet for what was supposed to be counselor training. Bear Ridge was the most popular summer camp in all of New Empress. The place should be teeming with activity this time of year, shouldn't it? Jake was the first to speak up.
Whoa.
Is it always this quiet? Yeah, where is everyone?
Oh.
I don't know. This is strange. For a brief second, Summer's confidence facade faltered. Her eyes scanned the clearing, narrowed and alert, like she was calculating something. Her posture stiffened, the corners of her mouth twitching downward. Uncertainty flickered across her face like a shadow, swift but noticeable. That brief crack in her armor said more than words could ever. Then, just as quickly, she straightened her shoulders and smoothed the tension from her face. Maybe everyone's running late. Let's check in with Ian. Summer led our advance to the main cabin. Candy tapped my shoulder. Where's Andre? I shrugged, my gaze sweeping over the campgrounds. There was no sign of him anywhere. We stopped at the front door of the cabin. Summer reached for the knob and pulled. It didn't budge. Huh? She tried again, twisting harder, then rattling it. Still locked. That's not right. Ian's always here early to greet everyone. He practically lives in this place. She backpedaled and scanned the front of the cabin. That's when I noticed it. Wait, there's something on the door. I stepped closer and peeled a wind-rifled piece of paper from where it hung crookedly on the cabin door frame. The ink had bled slightly, like it had been written in a hurry. Candy peered over my shoulder at the letter. That's from Mr. Matthews. I know his handwriting. It's like chicken scratch. Give me that. She snatched the letter from my hand and read it out loud.
Hey, Bear Ridge superstars. Got a family emergency that needs handling, but I'll be back before the kids arrive. Please use your tents for shelter instead of the cabins for now. Long story, plumbing issue. There's a cooler with food and drinks locked in the back shed. Keys are with Norman. Stick to the itinerary and I'll see you soon. Behave yourselves, Mr. Matthews.
Huh? Who's Norman? Oh, looking for me? I yelped, spinning so fast I nearly tripped over my own feet. Candy shrieked, hiding behind me, clinging to my shoulders for protection. Even Summer flinched. I locked eyes with the lanky, red-haired wearing thick-rimmed glasses, his pale face splashed with freckles. Judging by the Camp Bear Ridge uniform and keys jangling on his waist, this must be the guy Mr. Matthews mentioned in his letter, Norman. Christ, Norman, you scared us. What'd I tell you about sneaking up on folks? I wasn't sneaking around. I've been here all morning. It's you guys who showed up late. Summer raised her palm, silencing him.
Whatever.
Whatever. Ian said you had the keys to the shed. Yeah? His trembling fingers fumbled with the shed key before he shoved it into Summer's outstretched hand. He couldn't meet her gaze, his eyes darting around as if searching for an escape. Even as a newcomer, it didn't take long to see Norman was a total pushover. I almost felt sorry for him. Norman's gaze flickered to me, Jake, and Candy. You guys must be the new counselors. Welcome to
Camp Bear Ridge. Yay!
I wish Mr. Matthews was here to greet you guys, but you read the note, right? Norman is exactly like me, socially awkward. Norman sighed deeply, his brown eyes dark, troubled. He was acting weird before he left, like something was really wrong.
I'm really worried about Mr. Matthews.
Jake, Candy, and I exchanged wary glances. Summer flipped her hair over her shoulder, a smug grin plastered on her face. Obsessed much? Norman's cheeks flushed a vivid red. Obsessed? No, just worried. Ian's fine. You're overreacting like usual. He'll be back before we know it, and everything will be smooth sailing once again. We'll do our jobs, take care of the kids, and get paid, just like every summer. So take a breath, Norman, do your little job, and try not to spiral, okay? He nodded obediently.
Sorry.
Okay, Summer. That sounds fine and dandy, but where is everyone? Shouldn't more counselors be here for training? Norman hesitated, then glanced toward the narrow hiking trail snaking through the dense forest, draped with golden sunlight and lined with ferns. Some of the others are arriving late. Ian told me to expect a second group this afternoon. I'll go wait for them. Someone has to make sure they don't wander off into the woods like Jenny here did. Norman perked up immediately, shaking his head a little too fast. No, I've got it. I'll go. You've had enough on your plate, Summer. It's the least I can do. Summer raised an eyebrow. You sure? I don't mind. Positive. I insist. He gave her a hopeful smile, the kind that screamed pick-me energy without saying a word. I'll let them know where to go. Give them the grand tour. You should Rest. You deserve it, Summer. No one fought him on it. Summer shrugged and waved him off, obviously losing interest.
Whatever.
Suit yourself. Without another word, Norman turned and started down the trail, shoulders hunched like he was bracing for something. I watched him disappear around the bend, a weird unease settling in my stomach. I didn't know the guy, but the way he walked off alone like that, it felt wrong. Summer clapped her hands twice, sharp and authoritative.
All right, listen up. The sun is going down soon, and unless you want to spend the night being feasted on by mosquitoes, I suggest you pick a spot and start setting up your tents.
Not sure, but I'll save right here just in case I need to pick a spot. So a new save. Oh, hang on. There we go. She stepped forward, eyes scanning the tree-ridged clearing with a natural authority, like the forest itself had elected her in charge.
Try to spread out a bit. Plenty of space. No need to be on top of each other. And keep your gear close. I don't want to hear anyone crying about their stuff getting soaked in dew or getting dragged off by some curious critter.
No one argued. We scattered, quietly sizing up the open land around us. The forest was still, the shadows growing larger. I had to get this tent set up fast. I chose a flat patch of ground a little ways from the others. Where the grass had been pressed down by time or traffic, I couldn't tell. It looked good enough. Unzipping the tent bag felt like a puzzle in itself. I practiced once in my backyard, but now that the pressure was on, I nearly forgot the whole process. I glanced around. Candy was already halfway through setting hers up with a smug little smirk. Jake hadn't even started yet, and Andre looked like he was about to build a cabin out of spite. I turned back to my mess. The tent fabric flopped like a dead fish, and one of the poles was trying to stab me in the shin. I took a deep breath, crouched down, and tried again, slower this time. Stake by stake, pole by pole, one little clip at a time. Oh, alright, I can choose. Whatever this... Oh, I can just click. Wait, anything? Oh, right there. Build tent. Getting killed by wildlife is one of the rarest ways to die while camping in a national park. You're more likely to trip, drown, or get lost than get mauled by a bear. Interesting. Eventually, it stood. Sort of. The tent leaned a little to the left and sagged in the middle like it was tired just being alive. But it was up. Technically. Should I spruce this place up a bit? Or keep it natural? I like this one, green and earthy. You know what? I'll save real quick. I prefer the green and earthy kind. I typically don't decorate, or I never been camping, but I wouldn't decorate a tent. But this is my style. Green feels relaxing. I'm one with nature. Green is a calming color after all. I made up my bed and fluffed up my spare hoodie into a makeshift pillow. The fairy lights cast a soft glow overhead, making the nylon wall shimmer like moonlight on a quiet lake. I laid back on my bed, legs crossed at the ankles. The smell of grass, fabric, and distant campfire smoke settling all around me. For the first time all day, I felt good. Not perfect, but good. I pulled out my songbook, its corners bent and covers scribbled on. and flipped to a blank page. My pen hovered, then landed. The words arrived slowly, careful and unsure, as if they weren't quite ready to be seen. I used to tremble at the break of dawn. Shadows danced until the courage was gone. I tapped the page, mouth pursed, hummed a little melody, scribbled a G chord. The tent may have been crooked, but in that moment, it felt like my own tiny studio. I could hear the guitar in my head already, slow and steady, humming under the lyrics. Outside, the evening wind rustled through the trees. Inside, I kept writing. Then came the footsteps. "Is that you, Jake?" Soft at first, crunching lightly through the grass outside. I froze, pen hovering above the page. Someone was close. A shadow moved across the tiny nylon wall. Before I could call out, the flap opened. And Jake slipped inside without asking. No knock, no hello, just Jake. Tousled hair and a mischievous smile, smelling like cedar, marker art, and trouble. There was a rolled-up sleeping bag tucked under his arm. "Yo." He didn't even look at me right away, just plopped his sleeping bag down next to my bed like he lived here. Like it was a completely normal thing to do. What are you doing here?" Jake stretched out, arms behind his head like this was a sleepover. His bare arm brushed mine, warm. "My tent's boring. Yours is colorful, bright, it has soul. I'm upgrading." He said that so casually, like crashing my tent was just part of a nightly itinerary. I stared at him, my pulse racing. He finally looked over at me, one brow raised. "What? Aren't you lonely in here by yourself?" Well, I wasn't, not until you said that. Jake laid beside me, arm propped behind his head like a makeshift pillow. He was making himself comfortable in my tent, inviting himself in without considering my feelings. We only met this morning, and already he acted like we'd known each other for years. It was like social rules just didn't apply to him. There was something offbeat about him. Odd, strange, not like normal people. And for the reasons I couldn't explain, that only made me want to understand him more. But the logical side of me was screaming to get out now, while I still had the chance. It warned me that Jake wasn't just strange. He was unpredictable. My gaze flicked to the pocket knife poking out of his jeans, just visible enough to make me wonder. Not threatening, but a reminder. Of what? I wasn't sure. Still, I remained rooted in place, caught in the gravitational pull of his strange little orbit. I closed my songbook, plagued with conflicted thoughts. Jake needed to learn to respect my boundaries, but I didn't want to ruin this fragile, weird, magnetic little thing we were building. I didn't understand it yet, but I wasn't ready to let it go. I took a breath and exhaled deeply. I had two choices: ask him to leave or confront him about his behavior lately. I feel that if we just simply push him away, then that could cost us down the line. Or how about we just... Oh. You know what? We'll just confront him. We'll be brave. I think that could help us in the future. I drew in a breath, steadied my voice, and forced myself not to get lost in those pretty blue eyes. When I spoke, it came out steadier than usual. Clear, direct, and without apology. "Jake, I think you should go." That made him freeze. His expression fell, replaced by something quieter, like confusion trying to disguise itself as indifference. Oh, yeah, right. He sat up slowly, brushing imaginary dirt off his jeans. For once, he wasn't performing. He looked stripped of his usual act. No smirk, no witty deflection, just a boy unsure of his place in the room. I'm making you uncomfortable, aren't I? I didn't mean to. It's not that I think I can just barge into people's personal space. Boundaries, warnings, feelings. I see them, but it's like they don't stick. Like my brain skips that part and barrels forward anyway. I act first, feel second, think third, if at all. Everything happens so fast in my head and I don't always realize how it lands until it's already done. His eyes flicker toward mine, then away again.
I've always been like this, impulsive. Too much. I walk into rooms I'm not invited to because I think maybe someone wants me there. Then I realize I read it wrong. Too late.
He hesitated.
I don't feel things like normal people do. Not always when I should. Sometimes it's like there's this fog, and by the time it clears, I've already screwed something up.
He stood on his knees, hands on his sleeping bag. I'll go. I get it. There was no bitterness in his voice, just resignation, and maybe a little disappointment. Suddenly, I took a page from Jake's book. My hand moved before my thoughts could catch up. I reached for his hand, wrapped my fingers around his. He stilled. His eyes met mine, wide and startled, like he wasn't used to someone choosing him. Stay. I almost feel bad for you, Jake. And just like that, he did. Something shifted in his stormy blue eyes, like a crack deep beneath the surface was finally giving away. One fracture, and everything he buried came rushing back into a flood too strong to stop. Look, I know I'm a lot. Too much. I've been told that my whole life. But the second I met you... He paused, searching for the words. It felt like someone finally tuned into the same weird station I've been broadcasting on. Like I could see myself. Messy, impulsive, a little crazy. You make me feel safe. I don't have to hide or filter or shrink down just to be tolerated. He shook his head, laughing awkwardly without humor. That probably sounds intense. I know it's fast. I know I'm fast. But I'm here because of you. You're the reason I walked into this tent. Not the pretty lights, the decor, or the art. Not because I feel lonely. Just you. His voice dropped, almost a whisper. Being around you makes the world feel quieter. Like maybe I'm not so broken after all. My chest ached, caught between the surprise of his confession and the raw honesty behind it. It felt like the air had been kicked from my lungs, like his words had reached a part of me I didn't know existed. No one had ever said anything like that to me before. Not with that kind of clarity, not with that kind of vulnerability. I felt exposed and comforted all at once, wanted, in a way that went deeper than just being liked. And terrifying as it was also kind of beautiful. A voice sliced through the quiet, yanking us back to reality. Attention campers, I have refreshments here. Drinks for everyone. Jake blinked and looked toward the flap. Cherry Kool-Aid, people. And yes, there's ice. Plenty of ice to go around. We both turned towards the faint glow outside. The camp had grown dark, shadows stretching long and deep between the trees. But there Summer was, standing next to a weathered picnic table, her silhouette outlined in moonlight. A big plastic pitcher of Kool-Aid glistened with condensation behind her, or beside her, red as rubies and twice as tempting. Jake's eyes brightened. That actually sounds amazing. I hadn't realized how parched I was until now. My throat was dry, lips chapped, refreshment was exactly what I needed. Jake looked back at me, the edge of a smile returning to his face. You wanna go? I hesitated, then nodded. Maybe the night wasn't done unraveling just yet. We both slipped out into the night. The air outside was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and earth. Crickets chirped in the underbrush as we made our way over to Summer's table. She raised a brow as we approached, pouring the Kool-Aid into red plastic cups. Look who finally emerged from their cozy little love nest. Must have been some deep emotional unpacking in there. My face burned so hot it felt I could light the whole forest on fire. The way Summer said it, loud and smug and way too knowing, it made my stomach flip. I didn't even know what Jake and I were, but now it felt like we had a label stapled across our foreheads. People were watching, noticing, whispering probably. That flutter in my chest twisted tighter.
Thank you.
Summer handed me a red cup filled to the brim, and I muttered a quick thanks, trying to keep my hands from shaking as I took it. Jake reached for one, but Summer tilted the pitcher just out of reach. Oops, looks like we're all out. We have to share the Kool-Aid, don't we? She said that with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The pitcher was still half full. Jake quirked a brow. What do you mean? It's right there. No, it's not. There's none left. Scout's honor. Jake bristled. His shoulders squared and the amusement drained from his face. He glanced from her expression to a full half-full pitcher, then back again, eyes darkening with restrained irritation.
Lame.
Seriously? I shifted on my feet, the air around us thick with discomfort. I could practically hear the unspoken challenge between them. Felt like ripple through space, like static. Summer looked completely unfazed, a small teasing smirk on her face. Sorry, better luck next time. But I'm thirsty.
Whatever.
Drink water. She gave her hair a casual toss, seized the pitcher with exaggerated flair, and shot it off. Jake exhaled hard through his nose, shoulders sagging in defeat. He turned to face me. I got a feeling she doesn't like me. Just a hunch. I could be wrong. I watched Summer hand out drinks to Candy and Andre without hesitation, shamelessly excluding Jake. My stomach hardened. She definitely doesn't like you. I looked down at my empty cup, a pang of guilt hitting me. Aw, we can't share it now. I drained it before I even realized, sweet, cold, gone in seconds, and never once thought to offer Jake a sip, not even a taste. Still, I haven't expected Summer to actually go that far. Giving everyone else a drink except Jake felt petty, like middle school cafeteria levels of cruel. Jake's gaze dropped to my lips, his blue eyes smoldered. He stepped closer, his presence suddenly overwhelming, every inch of him tense with restraint. The air between us shifted from casual to intimate in an instant. I felt it in my chest, in my fingertips, in the way my breath hitched. Whatever this was between us, it was no longer harmless, and it was developing fast. I fought the urge to pull away, to run and hide. I have an idea. May I? Please say yes. I nodded, unable to find my voice. No, I need you. I need to hear you say it. Please, little Melody. A dark curiosity took the forefront of my mind. I had no clue why he was asking for consent. What was he about to do? The question tumbled through my mind, tangled in the tension between us. Whatever he was thinking, I needed to see through. I needed to know. Yes. He leaned in. His tongue darted out and licked my mouth. It was light. It was a light, wet brush, but just enough to taste the remnants of cherry on my lips. Pretty unorthodox way to taste a Kool-Aid drink. He lingered close for a second longer, eyes still locked onto mine. A low sound escaped him, like a soft ascent caught in his throat.
You taste like diabetes.
I blinked, caught in a dangerous web of desire. I prefer sparkling water, not Kool-Aid, to be honest. I could barely hear anything past the blood racing in my ears.
What did you say?
Jake didn't answer. He took a step forward, gently pressing me back until my shoulders met the rough bark of a tree pine. His hands rested on either side of me, not touching, but close. Close enough to feel the warmth radiating from his skin. His gaze searched mine, not for permission this time, but for connection. For something real.
Your eyes are so goddamn beautiful. And the pigment is so goddamn rich, like umber. No. Sepia.
His words struck something deep inside me, like a match dragged across the edge of my soul. I felt a catch. Suddenly, bright, undeniable, a fire I didn't know I had, roaring to life just for him. Then, slowly, deliberately, he leaned in and kissed me. You're perfect. There was nothing timid about it. His lips claimed mine with urgency that sent a pulse skipping like stone across water. The taste of cherry lingered between us, sweet and bold. The world around me blurred. All that remained was the presence of his mouth, the warmth of his breath, and the unspoken passion between us. Then a scream tore through the woods. Sharp, shrill, and unmistakably human. We both froze. It wasn't far. It sounded like Norman? Day 2, Oliver's apartment, 11:52 p.m. Was he attacked by an abnormal?
New Empress City was a chaotic symphony of noise outside my window. It was nearly midnight, yet the sirens continued to wail, emergency vehicles rushing through the streets endlessly. Flickers of neon lashed at the windows. My ceiling was a mess of shifting light, red and gold flickering in the corners of my blurred vision. The city was being swallowed whole by crime, and I could do nothing but lay here in bed and seethe and cope and piss and shit. My shirt half unbuttoned and tie hanging loosely around my neck. I cradled my glass of scotch to my chest. It was warm from neglect,
the ice slowly withering away. My gaze occasionally drifted to the open files on my desk, pages fanned out haphazardly, as if they were waiting for me to admit my failure. The Bear Ridge Ripper case. It was a puzzle with too many missing pieces. Betrayal was going cold. I should be going over them, playing the tapes again and again, reading the witness statements until something finally gives. But I do not move. I raise my drink to my lips. It stung as it went down. I wished it burned hotter. I wished the alcohol scorched a fire so potent in my soul that it gave me the purpose, the incorruptible zeal, to carry on. It never did. I often wondered if it was worth indulging in such a poison. Perhaps it was better to stew in my inadequacy and let the wound fester, to feel the brunt of my suffering until the ache dulled naturally. Surely that was a possibility, wasn't it?
Oliver.
I heard her at the edge of my consciousness. Her voice a longing whisper, curling into my ear, soft as smoke, and just as suffocating. The haunting symphony dragged across my thoughts, like fingernails on old wood. Her foreboding presence had followed me outside the office, into my home. I didn't fight it. I let her settle into the hollow between my ribs. It was insanity, really. The way I didn't take off running and screaming whenever she called out to me. The glass in my hand tilted slightly, liquid amber swaying. I brought the drink to my lips again. The scotch burned, but not enough to drown her out. Not enough to wash away the blackness the ISWA had stained on my heart.
A knock at the door. 3 short taps. I kept still. More knocking. I considered ignoring it, letting it go. Whoever it was must get the hint. No one should be knocking at this hour. Not unless they wanted something. Blood, answers, or worse, both. I set the glass down on the nightstand, the sound of it meeting wood far too loud to be quiet.
Rookie.
Oh. The mere sight of his ridiculous, arrogant smile at this hour drew a curse from my lips.
Bloody hell.
What was this fool doing here? I've had enough problems already. I wasn't in the mood to add the cleaner to this list. I brought drinks. You know, I like this guy. We'll be nice. Let's let him inside. I already had drinks. Great. Now you'll have more. He invited himself inside, stepping past my rigid form. Intrigued and exacerbated, I allowed him to stay. For now. You're not allergic to cats, right? I gazed at Nova, scampering in behind the cleaner. Ah, so that explained how the furry friend ended up in my office. Nova was the cleaner's cat. Sorry to disturb your sleep or private drinking session, or whatever it is you do at this hour, but I have news. The boss man, the old bald guy with the bad habit of popping up when you least expect it like a jump scare, thinks you need help. Guidance. A lot of it. I've been assigned as your partner, permanently. Well, until one of us dies horribly, I mean. Watching you work is embarrassing, really. You're terrible at this, like worse than bad. Yes, I know I did bad on my first day on the job. It's a miracle you haven't even been fired yet. Just saying. I scoffed. The audacity. It was my first day on the job, see? Give me a break. You're alive, aren't you? I am. He shot me a hard, disapproving glare. No thanks to you. His uncomfortable comment didn't faze me. I simply moved past him toward my evidence board. The old man. You can see him too. Of course I see him. He's our boss.
Oh, interesting.
Also, wanna tell me why you have his handsome mug pinned on the murder board?
What?
I pivoted, staring at him incredulously. Because he has the ability to transverse time and space, perhaps? The old geezer jumped out of an instructional CD from the 1960s. Somehow, he was at my desk. He was speaking to me, engaged with me, with us. Either we are both out of our bloody minds, or
Yeah, no.
we aren't crazy. He said that with such firm conviction that I almost believed him. Listen, rookie, life with the ISWA alters you. I don't know how or why, but once you're in this line of work, you start seeing things normal people can't. Once you're exposed to abnormals, there's no going back. I sighed heavily. Of course I'd work a job that drives me insane, just my luck.
Oh, cupcakes?
Without asking, he swept up one of the red velvet cupcakes from the coffee table and devoured it all in one bite, like a rabid animal.
Unholy hell. That's one good-ass cupcake. Did you make this?
Yes, I bake in my free time. Not that any of that is your business.
It's my business now, rookie. We're partners. I gotta know every last thing about you, from the mundane to your deepest, darkest fears. Like your favorite socks, for example. Or the existential dread of being the last person left in a desolate, post-apocalyptic void of nothingness.
Sometimes I have an existential crisis when I look in the mirror and ask, why am I in a human body? He chuckled awkwardly. Oh, sorry. I was self-projecting a bit there, but you get the point. He licked the cupcake liner shamelessly, eating every last crumb. I shook my head, eyeing the glistening sword strapped to his back, deadly sharp, the edge stained with blood. His muscle arms bore the marks of a warrior, faded scars hinting at a history of conflict and resilience. There was a delicate balance in him, poised between sophistication, madness, and barbarity. I didn't know what to make of this, cleaner. I trust him. I wasn't particularly a fan of his company, but I didn't have the willpower to kick him out. Yet. Besides, I had questions. He quite possibly had answers. Her voice tingled at my consciousness. Relentless, persistent. I popped open a cheap beer, more alcohol to take the edge off. The cleaner collapsed onto the couch, as if he owned the place, kicking his feet up on the table. I nudged his ankle, pushing his feet off the furniture. He made a face at me. I rolled my eyes, then joined him on the couch.
I assume you have a name? Kai. Kai Goldenapple. Kai.
I stared at him blankly. Golden apple? How ridiculous. I thought about pressing him for more, but my thoughts kept drifting back to her. She was unlike anything I ever encountered before. She left a mark on me I'd never forget. I called her the Peeker. Then there was Kai. Unforgettable as well. Who is it that refuses to fade from my thoughts? This is interesting. I really don't want to forget about Kai, so... this choice will impact the story. Let's ask about the Peeker. Or no, let's ask about Kai. Alright, Kai Golden Apple. Before we go any further, I must ask, how on earth do you know where I live? You know the ISWA has extensive files and records on all of its employees, right? It wasn't hard to pull yours up.
Uh,
The room spun. Whether it was from the alcohol or Kai's casual admission of violating privacy laws, I wasn't sure.
Ollie?
Ollie, you're pale as a ghost. Drink. He tapped the beer in my hand. I drained the bottle. My stomach turned for a moment, then settled. I fought the urge to lash out. My muscles twitched with suppressed violence. Are you insane? Combing through confidential files of the people you know, is that normal behavior for you? Should I be concerned? He had the grace to look sheepish, at least.
Ooh, awkward.
Ooh, is that a hypothetical question? Or are you expecting an answer?
Kai?
Kai, you could have just asked me. Damn you. You had no right to go snooping. Kai's jaw tightened.
Rookie.
Chill out, rookie. Careful, don't want to pop a vein looking that furious, do we? My grip on the bottle tightened. That look I shot him was lethal.
Bloody hell.
Keep antagonizing me. See where it gets you. The room went silent. Tension oozed between us, thick and unrelenting. In that moment, I didn't give a shite whether he was a cleaner, a professional monster slayer, or whatever else the bastard claimed to be. Eventually, Kai cracked beneath the heat of my glare. His hand shot up in surrender. He was in the wrong, and he knew it. Alright, relax, Ollie. You've got the face of a man who hasn't pooped in days. He intimidated the face, puffing out his cheeks. Fine, I screwed up. I shouldn't have snooped through your precious little files. Happy? Suddenly, bone-weary and exhausted, I sighed heavily and looked away, sinking further into the couch cushions. I had a feeling that was the best apology I was going to get from a man like Kai. Do not do it again, understand? He grumbled something under his breath. It sounded close enough to acknowledgement. And stop calling me that. My name is not Ollie. That made his mouth curve slightly. Oliver has too many syllables. Ollie, though, perfect. Well, Oliver has 3 syllables, Ollie has 2. My nose wrinkled. Christ. My phone rang, again and again. I considered rejecting the call, but whoever was on the other line was bloody persistent. With a heavy sigh, I answered.
Hello?
God, Oliver, I've been ringing you all day.
I grimaced. My grip on the phone tightened.
Why? What's happened?
It's your daughter, Charlotte.
What? Oh, and that's it. Well, oh, that's the end of the demo, but I'll wait for the credits to finish real quick.
Summertime, I don't need to wait in line. I can't get you off my mind at all. Now it's here, I won't wait another year, and there's nothing we should fear at all. Now what will be, but you're safe when you're with me. So don't you go slow down just yet. We can sleep it off when we're dead. I've got time to kill, heart won't be still when I'm with you. We got so much more ahead.
Ever since that fateful night, My mind's been plagued with constant nightmares. I want to move on. To stop feeling scared all the time. To stop feeling so helpless. I want to be normal again. Feel normal again. But in order to do that, I have to make the hardest decision of my life.
Ollie, no. Don't be afraid.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
I'm Detective Oliver Smith, and I'm here to save your life.
So that's the end of the Bad Summer extended demo. This game is so amazing. I really hope the developers keep working on this. This was Temporal Nova and Rats. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like our content, please consider liking and subscribing as it helps us a lot.